Hi, I'm Mitchell Dale. This is Rugby League Week's Friday Arvo Footy. Joined on the couch today by Martin Lenihan from Rugby League Week, Eric Groth from the Cronulla Sharks. He looks like he's ready to go a few rounds with James Packer and Dave Gingell.
That was fun watching that.
Wasn't it?
They're good friends. They'll be right.
Happens
Happens to everyone.
They'll move on.
Happens to everyone.
Boys, want to talk first up about Mitchell Moses. Got a 2-week ban for breaching the NRL's anti-discrimination code. Eric, how many times have you heard that a similar phrase like that yelled on a footy field?
If there was a microphone on every player, you wouldn't be able to watch the game with your kids because it'd be triple R rated. It's everywhere, and I'm not saying that particular thing's everywhere, but I just think it's been blown out of proportion a little bit. It was in the heat of battle. Nowhere near condoning what he said. I just want to make the point that I've got a close friend who's in the gay community, and she said the same thing. She said, I can't believe he's got a 2-match suspension. It's something that, the word gay, I don't think it means what people actually think it might mean, you know what I mean? So I think there's no malice in his heart when he's saying you're a gay, whatever. I think the word after it's much worse. And I just think it's been blown out of proportion. And I do like that there's been a point made out of it because it'll probably mean it won't happen again. But it's gone too far for me.
Okay, boys, we caught up with Blake Austin, Tigers teammate of Mitchell Moses. Now, he believes that he probably did deserve to get some sort of a suspension, so let's hear from Blake.
Yeah, obviously the NRL's taken a stance. I think it's where the game needs to go with the day and age we're in. I also think it's a great opportunity to educate our young players, whether we start rolling out programs through our rookies camps or things like that. I think it's a great opportunity to really educate them on what can and can't be said, but can't complain with the stance that the NRL's taken. I think it was a throwaway line, and I think as a generation we're more accepting of things like that than some of the actual older generations. So I think it's a good chance to move forward and really grow as a game.
All right, Leno, Eric's had his say. What do you think? Has it been blown out of proportion?
I think so, mate. Hung out to dry, this kid. I think this is the latest hobby horse for the NRL. I think they've just gone too far over the top here. I mean, I look at a guy like Michael Ennis the other week. They said you weren't allowed to go up and talk to referees this week. Now, he dropped the F-bomb right at the end of the game against Newcastle. Nothing happened to him. That was all picked up. I know he didn't drop in the homophobic slur in there as well, but I just think we've gone too far with this. I think the young bloke could have been sent for a bit of education, maybe copped a fine. It's gone to the point of madness when Luke Bateman and his parents are getting phone calls from the gay community saying, thanks for what you've done for us and this sort of thing. He's not gay. It was never meant in that way. I think it's just been a bit too much.
It had to be made a point of. It was heard and it had to be made a point of, and it has been. And it's, in a way, it's a good thing because it probably won't happen again. So it's a good move. We had to do something about it.
Yeah, look, I just think it probably could have been handled a little bit differently. Yes, something should have happened. I don't think poor kid having to sit out 2 games and, as it turns out, costing him his NRL debut. I think that's gone way overboard. Tigers and the Roosters tonight, boys. Now, story in Rugby League Week this week highlighting that Sonny Bill Williams, of course, the Roosters superstar, he is down in key statistics this year. Caught up with some of the Tigers this week, Adam Blair in particular. He's a bit nervous that Sonny's about to explode, so let's have a listen to Adam.
He's an outstanding player and he's done a lot of great things. He attracts numbers everywhere when he's got the ball, and we've got to be on our game. And I guess there's a lot of players, Jared and Sam Moore, that are really playing really well up the middle there, and Sonny on the edge. So we're going to be up for a massive one.
Yeah, I guess with someone like Sonny, every game that he's quiet, he's probably one game closer to just exploding. Leno?
Yeah, look, they're very worried about him. The Tigers, I can understand that. I think he's due, but mate, honestly, there's a school of thought that the head's already gone to rugby. His mind might be elsewhere. A few of the Roosters have been off their game, let's be honest. I did go out on an Anzac Day, though, and I've got to say they were much closer to the Roosters of old. They just ran all over the Dragons in the forwards, quite undersized, I think, the Dragons forwards. That's a story for another day, but I think the Roosters were very close to back to their best form. Still some uncharacteristic stuff in there. The try that Minicello gave up right on half-time was poor, but I reckon they're just about ready to explode, and that's bad news for the Tigers.
Yep, what's your tip?
I think the Roosters will get them by about 12.
Eric?
Yeah, mate, just on what Leno was saying, with an athlete like Sonny, these things get tossed up, and good athletes tend to not let things get to them, but I think they use it in their advantage, and the fact that it's been spoken about is a scary thing for the Tigers, so I'm going to tip the Roosters.
Yeah, Sonny could just be sitting there thinking, right, this is it. I tend to agree with you guys. Despite the Tigers being higher on the ladder than the Roosters, I think the Roosters are starting to rise and the Tigers have got a horrible injury toll. I think the Roosters will do this one easy tonight. Right, you know it's Origin time around the corner when former legends start lobbing grenades either side of the border. Chris Close, one of the great Queensland men for a quote, has told Rugby League Week this week, boys, 15 in a row. Eric, he famously bitch slapped your old man in a couple of one of the early games.
Mate, be careful. The feminists will be onto us next. We've got the gay community after us now. We've got the feminists after us.
Sorry.
Mate, yeah, no, he did. It was good always bringing up to Dad when he's getting a bit smart. I'll tell him I'll get choppy onto him. But, mate, I was unfortunately involved in 06. Well, not unfortunately involved, but in the last dying seconds of that game, classic Darren Lockyer scored to win the decider. Took our dreams away from us. But, mate, I can see why he would say something like that. Look at the team they got. They are ageing a little bit, but... Mate, he predicted the 10 in a row, so he's not far off.
Let's not forget in 2009 when they won 3, he said they'd win 10. Everyone laughed at him then.
Well, look at the talent they've got coming through. I mean, they are getting a bit older. You know, Cameron Smith, Billy Slater. Then you got Ben Barber, you got Milford, you got DCE. This is a dynasty that will continue. I think they'll probably get the money again this year. Looking at it, New South Wales. Too many problems there with selection. A lot of things still to discuss for them. Queensland have probably picked 16 out of their 17. So. Look, I mean, logically they won't win 15 in a row, but I tell you what, you've got to love Choppy for a quote. Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think they'll win 15, but yeah, you can understand why I would say it.
Well, look, I think after 8 years they've got every right to be confident.
Absolutely.
Whether or not it's 15, we'll have to wait and see.
Come on, Blues.
That time of the week again, the Encouragement Award, boys. Eric,
big week this week.
What have you got this week?
Here we go. This week I give the Encouragement Award to Conrad Hurrell, who said men can't multitask. He was doing 4 things at the one time. So, ladies, just lay off us men, all right? I think he proved otherwise.
Big week for Conrad there. I think, look, I've got to say on a serious note, I was glad to see the NRL stayed out of that one, just left it to the Warriors. Well handled by all concerned.
Yeah, it was.
And he picks up the award to top it off.
Boots on the way, mate. Don't, it's a bit wobbly. Don't drive with it.
Well, it's a happy ending to a difficult week for Conrad Hurrell. Okay, before we go, I have a quick tip from the Mould boys. Kevin Proctor, with Ryan Hoffman announcing he was going to the Warriors, it was thought that perhaps the Storm were a chance to keep Proctor. Well, the bad news for them is that Canberra have made Proctor their #1 target. Ricky Stewart really wants to get him down there. So you've also got the Dragons in the mix. A lot of clubs very keen on Kevin Proctor, and you can add Canberra to the list now. Yeah,
look, I think he'd be a great pickup. They've got plenty of good forwards in Canberra, no doubt, but this bloke's an international. He's got a great reputation in the game, pretty hard to tackle by the looks of him, scouts out wide there. So, look, as you said, you'd think the Storm would be a bigger chance to hold on to him now, but I'm not so sure. Yeah, mate, great player, very underrated, doesn't get all the raps he deserves. I think if you cut him off there at the neck and added feet, he'd look like Grug. Remember Grug? I do. Grug goes to school, Grug goes to the beach. Maybe it could be Grug goes to the Raiders. Grug goes to the Raiders. Insightful as always, Eric. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Leno, thanks for joining us. Well done, boys. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the footy. We'll see you again next week.